Guys, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining me. This wasn't a protest. This is a war against citizens, against normal, everyday people trying to live their lives, not be activists, pay the bills, and just live a good 9 to 5 and try to get through this crazy world around us. This past weekend, we had something that was way, way more. We've got citizens around that are armed to the teeth, guarding their, quote unquote, guarding their neighborhoods, because if ICE shows up, they're going to protect everybody around. Now, if you're sitting around holding onto a semi-automatic rifle in your neighborhood saying you're protecting people from ICE showing up, what happens when ICE shows up, or immigration enforcement? What happens when they show up? Do you now get into a shootout? Are you just trying to be cool and brave on social media for clicks? Well, it turns out the first is actually most likely. You've got people that are protesting and burning things down and destroying things over every single little issue that they don't like. Don't like what Trump did in Venezuela? Riot. Don't like deportation of immigrants? Riot. Don't like what happens between Israel and Palestine? Riot. And all of these things are done time after time after time to destroy the fabric of reality in our society. And it's being done for a purpose. And I think you'll find that out. Here, this image of a guy sitting on back of his vehicle, along with a couple of others as well, where they just say, yeah, we're going to sit out here and protect it, which means that if a federal law enforcement officer shows up to a certain neighborhood, they could be receiving lead flying at them, trying to end their lives, which has already happened in some circumstances. So before we get into all this main story, and what I believe this is probably the biggest and worst story of all of them that I've covered along these lines, let's hear from today's sponsor, Black Forest Supplements, and their new cocoa flavanols. Harvard just revealed that this cocoa powder makes you harder to kill. And harder to kill. 27% less likely to die and 80% improvement in morning wood. A nice little side benefit. This study was done by 21,000 people, not on little lab rats, but real humans not dying and doing the deed better. But don't take it from me. Let me show you a clip from Harvard scientist Dr. William Lee that actually backs this up.
Cacao has been shown to actually double the number of stem cells flowing in your bloodstream just by having 2 cups of hot chocolate made with 80% high flavanol. Well, there was a study done at UCSF in San Francisco that looked at 60-year-old men with heart disease. So these are people whose blood vessels were already not doing so well, and their blood flow wasn't going so well either, and their blood vessels were kind of sick. That's kind of the definition of heart disease. By having the stem cells coming out, they were able to actually double the resiliency, the function of their blood vessels. So they got better rebound, better agility. Their blood vessels are in better shape because their stem cells are regenerating their circulation.
This isn't your kid's hot chocolate. Regular chocolate has 50 milligrams of dead flavanols. This Black Forest high flavanol cocoa powder has 1,200 milligrams of pharmaceutical extracted flavanols. The difference between drinking non-alcoholic beer and whiskey, not in the same league. The first and only of its kind, Black Forest high flavanol cocoa powder, made right here in the United States. And what makes it so unique is they take the finest cocoa and they extract the flavanols into it and concentrate it into this stuff. The exact same stuff they used in these Harvard studies. Those damn hippies, well, they're paying $80 for a ceremonial cacao that has 40 milligrams of flavanol in it, where you, right here, can get 1,200. Regular chocolate is processed to death. About 99% of the flavanols are destroyed. You know, we're all getting older and we want to die hard instead of dying soft. This is your insurance policy. This is cheaper than the blue pill, better than the white ones. I dropped the link, pick it up. And here's the great news. I worked out a short New Year's 40% off access window with Black Forest on their high flavanol cocoa. So the sale has been extended. Right now, pricing is significantly lower than normal, but only for the next 48 hours. This stuff sells out every time they do this, so don't wait. Lock it in while this window is open. Links are in the pinned comment and description down below. Take control of your health before someone else does it for you. And now back to our regularly scheduled program, me. You know, before he passed away just a few days ago, rest in peace, Scott Adams. Now, if you know Scott Adams, he wrote the Dilbert comics. He was pretty based, pretty red-pilled, and was a big supporter of the Trump administration. And it was very important for him, he felt, to share his thoughts on things, whether it be in comic book form or on X, sharing his views of the world. And he said 2 very prophetic things. He said, number 1, get away from black people, which is after many interviews of black people being interviewed, and they said, we don't want white people around us. We'll destroy them. They hate us. They're racist, all the other things. He said, okay, well, if they're going to be like that, don't try to shake hands and be friends. Just get away from the people that are like that. And number 2, in 2020, he said Republicans will be hunted. Now, if you look down below this, there's 7,000 likes on this, but he got a lot of backlash for this. People saying, oh, I'm disappointed in you. Democrats and Republicans and all our families, we love them. We won't hurt you. We're all friends. And it turns out he was right. It turns out he was right. Because over this last weekend, we've had some conservative journalists like Nick Sorter and others going out and trying to do the coverage on the ground. And the minute that somebody finds out that they're in the area, they try to very badly hurt them. They steal their equipment. And they do this as an angry mob instead of just normal people going about their day. I got a couple of videos, several videos that we're going to be going through, but this is just from a couple of days ago.
Is that him? Is that him? Yes! Open the door! Oh my God! Drive! Oh my God! Just drive! Stop! Wait! Let them go! Let them go! Hey, pull over! Pull over! Hey, leave it! Get out of here! Leave it up! Get out of here! No! Y'all just let him leave! It's not working! Hey! We don't know him! Stop it! Let him out! Let him out!
This just shows you people do not have the capacity for free thinking. The driver's just sitting there like a moron while all these guys are trying to yank somebody out of their car. And I don't think this is Nick Sorter here. I think this is somebody else. Driver just sitting there while they're trying to yank him out of the car saying, pull over, we want him. Now, what happens if they get him out of the car? Do they just give him a friendly little beating, or do they kick him in the face once he's gone down until he's done? The same thing happened again here. Now, you can say what you want, that these people should not be in the area. They shouldn't be out there doing reporting. They shouldn't be out there antagonizing people. All of those are probably pretty accurate statements. I don't think I would go into this area to try to change any minds either. But here's a situation where a guy got cornered, and he's one or two individuals. And I want you to see how many people are trying to literally tear him limb from limb. Now, in this clip, actually, they play music, and I think the reason why they do this is because if you try to upload this with audio, you'll end up getting a copyright strike, or the video will get taken down. So I'm going to mute this. But what you see is everybody with their faces masked up, and you've got one guy here that is being pulled. And I'm going to rewind this just for a second. One person has a hold of his left leg. One person has a hold of his right leg. And so he can't go anywhere. Now, when the camera pans back, you're going to see 200 or 300 people that are planning to rip this guy literally limb from limb. And he's been cornered up against a building, and he can't go anywhere. They're pulling his legs in opposite directions. And you can see here, they're going to carry him off, literally carry him off. I wasn't able to figure out what's going on with him and what happened to him. I think he's okay. But the point is now, where you can see in this way down the way, they're now beating on him as they drag him off. And you've got people with cameras and media, and, you know, the second Civil War will be filmed in 4K at least, and he's dragged off to gosh knows where. But this was just the beginning of it. Anti-ICE protesters marched into a church in Minneapolis, shutting down the service. Now, Don Lemon, the idiot activist, former CNN news journalist, he keeps saying, I'm just a journalist. I'm just a journalist. But then he antagonizes people and gets in their faces. And I have the main story that I'm going to read from here in a minute. This is the one that got me angry. Here you have families, you have little children, 5, 6, 7 years old, just trying to go to service. And these rabid anti-ICE activists broke into the church, or worked their way into the church, and just started screaming. Now, I'll ask you this. They took out Charlie Kirk. They arrest people when they go outside of baby deletion facilities trying to tell mothers, please save your child. They arrested them and gave them federal charges. What's going to happen to these people for going into a service and interrupting this? I believe that falls under the FACE Act, which we'll read about in a minute. But once again, here you've got these people, and this isn't about a dialogue. This isn't look, the First Amendment allows you free speech. It does not allow you free destruction of things. It doesn't allow you street takeovers. It doesn't allow you to break into private property, which a church is, and interrupt services and scream at people and antagonize children. The First Amendment covers none of that. And they'll hide under the Constitution the minute it helps them. And then when you want to use the Constitution, they say we should abolish it. That's how this goes. This is the stuff that made me the most angry this weekend, was people just trying to be peaceful. Would they do this in a mosque? No. Would they do this in a synagogue? No, that would be national outrage. But they can do it to Christians because Christians generally are patient, kind people that will put up with this. And in this case, I don't think they should have. But what are you going to do when you're just a bunch of people sitting around in sweaters and nice jackets while a mob descends upon you while you're going to services?
As you can see, all these pretend Christians, all these comfortable white people who are living lavish, comfortable lives while children are dragged into concentration camps. You're living real life, nice lives with your lattes, doing absolutely nothing for your Latino and Somali brothers and sisters. You come here to a man wearing a suit. Is a preacher? Did Jesus wear a suit? Did Jesus profit off the words? No! Jesus would dine with immigrants. You do not touch me. Touch me again and see what happens.
Hey, you can't. Don't
You are a fake Christian. Why are you not standing with your Somali and Latino communities? Why do I not see you out at Whipple every day protesting this attack on humanity?
They've lost their minds. It's one cause after another cause after another cause. It's always a cause to fight for. Because if it wasn't this, it's something else. They weren't outraged about Somalis 2 weeks ago until they found all the fraud. And then once it hits national news and Trump talks about it, well, this is an outrage. And then they'll move on to a new outrage and a new outrage and a new one. It's never going to stop. This is the rest of our public discourse until these lunatics get locked away, because they'll always find a new cause. They'll always find something else to get in your face and tell you they hate you, they hate capitalism, they hate America, they hate everything this country was founded for. And genuine question, how is this opening up a dialogue? How is this having a conversation? It's not. Here, Don Lemon, he's interviewing a man inside the church, and I don't know if you can hear the rioters / illegal protesters inside the church. Let me see if you can hear it.
Has been proven worthless.
Yeah, if you listen in the background, all you hear is the white noise of these rioters that have broken into the church just yelling at people in the congregation.
And so, in the end,
So anyway, Don Lemon, he's trying to interview this gentleman, and Don's, of course, he's a leftist, saying the same things that all the other slogans. This gentleman's like, look, you're only coming at it from one side. Why aren't you blaming the administration that did it on the other side? And finally, the guy says, look, you're an activist. You're not a news journalist. I'm done talking to you. And watch what happens when he goes outside.
Honestly,
okay.
let me talk to you just on the facts. Just saying, I want to give you the facts.
No.
Did you know that undocumented people and immigrants commit far less crime than Americans?
Now, of course, Don goes on to regurgitate all the things that the leftists say that are inaccurate, by the way. All you have to do is, if you only go to leftist news, yes, what you're saying is correct in your mind, but it's not the actual truth. And this guy just is trying to get out of there now.
Citizens?
We're done here. We're done here.
Then natural-born Americans. You won't listen.
If you could ask,
I'm giving you the facts. It is.
Give me facts. I would have a conversation.
But I can respond to you.
No,
Did Jesus stand with the oppressed?
Because he doesn't want to listen to facts.
That's
the interesting thing about this is that they won't listen to facts.
They won't listen to your facts, Don Lemon, the incorrect facts. This is what part of the reason why that CNN became a collapsed news network. Hey, CNN, collapsed news network. I like that. I never thought of it that way. But once again, you hear just people screaming in the background, yelling at people. This is not, they tried to interview, Don Lemon stuck a microphone in the pastor's face. The pastor says, look, this is private property. This is not a way to have the dialogue. Same thing. Another parishioner said the same things. And here's the key factor. The people that they're talking to here are calm. They're the members of the church. They're calm. They're non-confrontational. They're just trying to get on about their day. And Don Lemon just keeps sticking a microphone in their face and going off on them.
This is the beginning of what's going to happen here. When you violate people's due process, when you pull people off the street, you start dragging them and hurting them and not abiding by the Constitution.
See, the reason why I'm not playing a lot of these videos is because Don Lemon or whatever, he's spewing things that are incorrect. Due process? You don't get due process. You're not an American citizen, so you don't have the rights nor the protections of an American citizen. You're here illegally. And now it's getting to the point where they're harassing everyday citizens. Here's a streamer. I forget his name's Connor. That's his name. He's at kick.com, Connor. And he's just trying to do a live stream. And this woman comes by and starts giving him a hard time because she thinks he's an ICE agent because he's parked somewhere streaming.
Are you law enforcement? Bro, is this a simulation? Oh, is this like one of those ice things or something?
Cool, thank you. Good to know. Are you law enforcement? I'm just gonna grab your car here.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
She's taking pictures of his license plate.
Yeah, it looks like you're law enforcement.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna make sure.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. It's one of those people, dude.
So anyway, she follows him down the street. Now, what happens if this guy's license plate gets added to some registry, which they actually have? They have websites that are now tracking what they think are ICE officers' license plates, so they can follow them around and destroy the vehicles. What happens if they destroy his vehicle? This is, I don't know, like Soviet Russia type spying on your neighbor, spying on your fellow citizen. I won't bother showing you the video. Same kind of thing. Man in Minneapolis being confronted and labeled a Nazi over alleged support for ICE before he's been hit and kicked and knocked out. Moments later, someone in the crowd shouted, "Wait, he's one of us," appearing to realize they attacked one of their own without even realizing that he's on the same side. But he had I guess you could say, a forest camo jacket on, so they decide this is a lynch mob is what this is. Here in another example, tech workers were mistaken for ICE agents and they were accosted by a mob. What began as a casual lunch between 5 Twin City software engineers quickly escalated into an encounter after the men were misidentified as undercover federal agents and protesters were alerted to the Minneapolis restaurant where they were dining. Alpha News obtained a video and spoke with one of them, Lee, a software engineer from Plymouth, who described how the situation unfolded. Lee said the group was eating lunch at Clancy's Deli near 38th Street when one of the men, who belongs to an anti-ICE signal chat, received a message from a group labeled SW Minneapolis Rapid Response, claiming the plainclothes ICE agents were dining at the restaurants. My friend was shocked, Lee said. He's on the anti-ICE side politically. He lives nearby. He's eaten there before, and suddenly he's seeing messages saying that we're ICE agents. The software engineers, all white males dressed casually in sweatshirts and jackets, were confronted by protesters, not protesters, who surrounded the restaurant, shouting insults and blowing whistles in their ears as they attempted to leave. Lee emphasized to Alpha News that the group's political views were mixed, but said the encounter left some of them reconsidering their positions. One of us is pro-ICE, one is anti-ICE, others are on the fence, he said. After this, I think some of them are rethinking everything. And you can see the agitators outside giving these poor guys a hard time.
Why are you?
And they're just going after him. This is coming from Minneapolis, apparently. They're working with protesters within the city to help them track ICE operations. So it seems that the city themselves is now working with the protesters to track down federal law enforcement. This doesn't end well. None of this ends well. And the last thing I'll report on here is there is a man. I won't pull up the full video because it's about 8 minutes long, but it shows that there was an ICE vehicle used by ICE agents. They had to abandon because they got overwhelmed with these rioters. And after they bailed on the vehicle, one of the guys opens up the trunk and starts stealing all the badges, all the paperwork, and more importantly, their fully automatic rifles out of the back of the vehicle. And the man that stole the things out of the back of it was Raul Gutierrez, 33 years old, a member of the Latin Kings gang who has a lengthy rap sheet. I think I have video of, yes, I do have video of them stealing the officers' stuff. Now, the local cops didn't do anything. Of course, the local cops didn't do anything. However, since they stole a federal firearm, the ATF did get involved, and the ATF did make the arrest several days later. Now, here in this video, you can see he's lifted the safe over his head. And he's slamming it on the ground. Well, no one said they were geniuses. And here, another riot in Minneapolis. Somebody ended up making an arrest. One of the law enforcement officers made an arrest. And here you have a quote-unquote protester. He did have a sidearm, and which is a revolver, along with a box of ammunition. He of course didn't have any concealed carry permit. This is the real people that the ICE and the police are having to deal with constantly. And I'll leave it with this, since I think all of this is quite relevant, quite telling where we are. Anti-ICE Minneapolis protesters threatened with the FACE Act After the city's church viral the viral video emerge, the protesters who entered the city's church in the St. Minneapolis area on Sunday could get into legal trouble because of the FACE Act. The Civil Rights is investigating potential violations of the federal FACE Act by these people describing a house of worship and interfering with Christian worshipers, Dillon posted on X. The FACE Act is a federal law that prohibits the use of force, threats of force, physical obstruction, or property damage to interfere with a person's religious freedom or access to a place of religious worship. It makes illegal to intentionally injure, intimidate, or interfere with someone because they're exercising their right to religious practice or because they're providing or receiving religious services. Violations are federal crimes punishable by fines and up to 10 years in prison. And they have videos of people leaving the church. And I mean, you have 3, 4, 5-year-olds that are in tears being led away from their parents. And Don Lemon, who is within this, has been going viral because of his videos and his crap that he's been doing. Filming the protest was former CNN anchor Don Lemon, who faced criticism on social media. Leftist rioters in Minneapolis just stormed a church after Don Lemon erroneously accused the priest of working with ICE. Just like Walson Frey, Lemon is lying to spark riots out here. Lemon's desperately trying to be relevant again, one person said on X, platform formerly known as Twitter. This is not going to stop. This will continue to escalate until there's an all-out war. I mean, maybe this is our crossing the Rubicon. Maybe this is bleeding Kansas, if you want to talk in Civil War references. Maybe this is the moment where we just realize this is never ending. It's never stopping. This will continue. First, and as I said in the beginning of this, first it's one cause, then it's burning down Tesla because Elon's trying to keep the government from wasting your money. Now it's going all through Minneapolis because Nick Sorter found billions and billions, hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud. Next, it'll be California. Then it'll be New York. Then it'll be Rhode Island. Then it'll be Chicago. And then it'll be another cause and another cause. And it's always going to keep happening. These people are demoralized. These people have nothing else to care about in their miserable, lonely, sad, depressing lives. They have nothing else to look forward to. This is their new cause. The current cause is their new cause. And that's all they have left in life. All fueled on by these single older women, the cat ladies, the wine moms, the Karens that are out there leading up the charge on this. It's the young people. It's the people that believe in socialism. It's the people that believe that Marxism and the rest of this. There's always going to be a cause. This is going to continue for the rest of our lives until we do something about this. What the answer is, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is of what we do. But this is going to continue until a lot of people get hurt. A lot of people get ended. More cities burn down. This is just an ongoing way of life. And it's going to be that way in England. And it's going to be that way in Scotland, in Ireland. It may get that way in Australia if things get bad enough and they actually decide to start pushing back against their government that's trying to destroy them. At some point, this will continue on until it goes into some sort of a war, I suppose, or until the government gets enough power that they can impose their will over you, take away your freedoms, take away your rights, and that's it for you. That certainly feels like where it's going, and I don't feel that I'm being hyperbolic. I think now, after this all started in 2016, I guess, we're looking at a decade of this stuff. It's not going away. It's only getting worse, and I think it'll keep getting worse until it doesn't, until it goes nuclear, and then we've got a real problem. Guys, if you like my work, make sure to join me over on betterbachelor.locals.com, or for those of you on YouTube, at least get over to Rumble. The channel is Odd Man Out, because I also do news stories over there. Anyway, come on over, join us. Great community of like-minded guys. You can sign up for free. Doesn't cost you anything. You can check out the forums, check out the topics we're talking about, and you can see the live streams that I've done in the past. And then if you say, hey, something, I kind of like this, I dig this, I want to be a part of this community where I can post and share things and join some of the live streams that I do for supporters only, it's $5 a month, which is literally less than a crappy cup of coffee from Starbucks. So come on over, join us today. I think you'll appreciate it. Enjoy the members only live streams that I do. It's a good time. It's a good community. So come on over, check it out, and you won't regret it.